So I am very excited for today's video. Today I have in two new limited edition releases from Isotope Watches, and this is an exclusive first look. This will be the only hands-on video with these watches here on YouTube between now and their release. The watches are the Hydrium Burnt Tangerine and the Hydrium X will return. Now, this second one might have you wondering, that's kind of a bit of an odd name for a watch, but it'll all make sense here very soon. Big thanks to Jose, the owner of Isotope, for lending these in. Very much appreciated. So let's get straight to it and take a look at the watches. Okay, so both of these watches will be limited to 100 pieces. The owner has spent over 2 years designing these, and they are now available for pre-order on the Isotope site. There's some obvious similarities between the two, particularly with the case design, but that's for the most part where the similarities stop. So I think we will look at these individually first, and we'll start with my favorite of the two, the Hydrium X will return. So, does anyone see where Isotope got the design idea for this watch? Took me a minute at first, but this watch is inspired by the will return clock signs we've all seen on shop doors. To be honest, if someone told me they were using that sign as the design inspiration for a watch, I would have been very skeptical if it would fly or not. But man, this turned out really cool to me. This whole color combination is just a lot of fun. One neat thing they've done here is add a very small second hand. Isotope uses the lacrima, which is kind of a teardrop shape on all of their watches, and the hands are very similar to that shape. The idea for the second hand was perfect, though, for this versus having, say, a regular stick second hand, which would definitely take away from the look they're going for. Same as the clock, we've got the black numerals and even the same intermittent track. Different from the clock is the loom. Guys, this thing is insane when it comes to loom. No blotchy, uneven application like you often get on fully loomed dials. And guess what? This is a prototype, and they plan to beef up the loom even more than this, which will be crazy, as is the loom is very strong. Now, I gotta talk about the crystal here because the domed sapphire is very domed. These prototypes, unfortunately, have only one layer of anti-reflective coating, so they're a little tricky to film with all the reflections, but the production models will come with 7 AR layers. The domed crystal looks great though, and the clarity of the dial, even at extreme angles, is really impressive. Both watches are using sapphire inserts on their bezels, and this particular one has the red lacrima for the marker. The case is a bead blasted steel. It's got a very sturdy look and feel to it. Couple things being changed with it. The one is the helium escape valve is going to be nixed, which I think is a good call. The other is the straps are held in by screw pins, and those are gone too. The straps, when they come out, will include quick release spring bars. The crown is a signed crown. It's a screw down crown, and the watches will be running the Miyota 9039 movement. These models actually say Swiss made on the dial, but that's one other change coming to these watches as well. And here's a quick look on wrist. Looks good on the Tropic strap. We've also got a matching bead blasted buckle. I'm surprised just how much I like this one. Something about the colors and how they contrast against the matte case. I think this was an awesome idea, using the will return sign as the influence behind the design, and it's really well executed, so very cool. But let's change gears here and take a look at the burnt tangerine. Now, this has such a different vibe going on here. We've got those high contrast black hands against the orange. Where the last watch had a flat dial, this one has some layers and dimension to it. In the center of the dial is the raised lacrima shape we talked about earlier. The chapter ring is also raised, so quite a bit of depth to the dial. The hands, with how they have that dot of lume at the end, are meant to represent the dotted I in the company logo. Now, where the last watch had excellent lume, this one not so much, but Isotope will be using a stronger lume formula for the watch when these go into production. The bezel action on these watches is very good. I'm not sure I've seen a bezel grip quite like it. The side is flat and the grips are only at the edge. You'd think maybe it would be hard to grip, but not in the least. I think it's kind of a neat look too. The first watch we looked at is going to come with a display case back, but the burnt Tangerine has an awesome, deeply pressed case back with the dive helmet, the sharks, the anchor, just tons of detail happening there. Size on the watch is 39.8 millimeters in case width. Lug to lug's about 48 millimeters. The lug opening is 22 millimeters and the thickness is right around 15.5 millimeters, including the domed crystal, which I'm guessing adds at least 3 or 4 millimeters to that measurement. Water resist on the watch is 300 meters. Now this one is paired on a leather-backed nylon strap with orange stitchwork. It is in need of some wrist time to break in, but looks good on the watch. And here it is on my 7.25-inch wrist. Now, these are a little slab-sided, and I was speaking to the owner, Jose, and he may try to trim that down a bit, but the side profile does suit the look of the watch, I find. I know these are both limited to only 100 pieces, but I'd love to see some more color options maybe in the future. Cost on this one is 544 British pounds, but there's a limited time early bird discount if you use the code HydriumB at checkout when you pre-order. Early bird price will be 435 pounds. The will return is a little more at 563 pounds, but with the early bird discount code Hydrium will return, that will bring the price to 450 pounds. I'm not 100% on the deadline for the discount, but they've already gotten quite a few pre-orders, so it sounds like these won't last long. Link to the website where you can find these will be below. Thanks again to Jose from Isotope for the opportunity to get hands-on with these. They were really fun to check out. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.